Thanks for watching this video. This is Mr. Bowman, and in this video we're going to share with you factoring with the greatest common factor. Okay, so the greatest common factor of a polynomial, and we often will abbreviate greatest common factor with the abbreviation GCF. But the greatest common factor of a polynomial is the largest monomial. That's a key part of the definition here. It's a monomial. It's a one-termed expression that divides evenly into each term of the polynomial. So I'll show you one quick example of finding the greatest common factor of a polynomial. The polynomial expression is 10x cubed plus 6x to the fifth. And what I want to think about are the numbers that go evenly into 10. So there's 1, there's 2, 3 doesn't, 4 doesn't, 5 does, because 2 times 5 is 10, and the factor pair with 1 is 10. But let me think about the same thing for 6. Let's see, 1 goes evenly into 6, and so does 2, and so does 3, and so does 6. So I'm looking for the biggest factor that's in both lists, and I think that's 2. So the coefficient of my greatest common factor is going to be 2. If I picked a bigger factor like 3, 3 goes evenly into 6, but it doesn't go evenly into 10. Same deal with 5. 5 goes evenly into 10, but not into 6. 2 is the biggest one that goes evenly into both 10 and 6. Let me think about what x cubed and x to the fifth would look like. X cubed would look like x times x times x if we factored it out. X to the fifth would look like x times x times x times x times x. What's the biggest factor? Or another way to say it is, how many x's could I get out of both terms evenly? I think I could get these 3. So x times x times x is the rest of the greatest common factor, and we call that x cubed. Our greatest common factor is 2x cubed. So our goal for this video is to factor the expression using the greatest common factor. And if you recall from our last bit of work, factoring an expression means to write it as a product. So we need to find that greatest common factor and then use the greatest common factor to write this expression as a multiplication problem. So let's see if we can find the greatest common factor of 2x squared minus 9x. For 2 and 9, my GCF, my greatest common factor, the only factors that go into 2 are 1 and 2. And 2 doesn't go evenly into 9. Only 1 does. I want to think about 1 something. Now x squared is x times x. X is just by itself x. I think I can only get 1x. I think my greatest common factor is just 1x or just x. So what I want to think about is how to factor this using the greatest common factor. What I want to do is create a backwards multiplication problem. I want to write a multiplication problem where the answer is 2x squared minus 9x, and one of the factors is my greatest common factor, x. Can we figure out what goes here and here? What would I have to multiply by x to get 2x squared minus 9x? Well, this needs to be 2x, because 2x times x is 2x squared. What would you multiply by x to get negative 9x? Yes, negative 9. And these two factors here, x and a 2x minus 9, are the factors we need. So to write our answer, to write this expression in factored form, we want x times 2x minus 9. Here's another example. Let's see if we can factor 4n cubed plus 6 using the greatest common factor. Well, the GCF, if I think about what goes into both 4 and 6, 4 has factors of 1, 2, and 4. The biggest one of those that goes evenly into 6 looks like it would be 2. So 2 is the coefficient. Now I have n cubed here, but I don't have any n's here at all. So I can't put any n's in my greatest common factor. My greatest common factor is just 2. So let's see if we can write this expression as a multiplication problem, where one of the factors is 2. If I wanted to get 4n cubed plus 6 is my answer, and one of the factors was 2, what would the other factor have to be? What would you multiply by 2 to get 4n cubed? Yeah, 2n cubed. And what would you multiply by 2 to get 6? It's positive 3. To factor this expression using the greatest common factor, we're looking for 2 times 2n cubed plus 3. Let's look at 2 more examples. Let's see if we can factor 12x to the 5th minus 20x cubed. First, we need to find the greatest common factor. Numbers that go into 12, let's see, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's a lot of them, 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 2 times 6 is 12, and 1 times 12 is 12. Which of those is the biggest one that goes into 20? 12 doesn't go evenly into 20. 6 doesn't, but 4 does. So 4 will be the coefficient of my greatest common factor. So now let's think about the x's. X to the 5th here would look like x times x times x times x times x. But x cubed would be x times x times x. I think I can take 3 x cubed. And to factor this using the greatest common factor, well, let's think about writing a multiplication problem where the answer is 12x to the 5th minus 20x cubed. And one of the factors is my greatest common factor, 4x cubed. What would the other factor be? Well, here, to multiply something by 4x cubed and get 12x to the 5th, I need 3x squared. And here, to multiply something by 4x cubed to get negative 20x cubed, I need negative 5, and I don't need any x's. So in factored form, we've got 4x cubed times 3x squared minus 5. Let's try one more. Let's factor negative 9x to the 4th plus 36n. Now there's a feature of this one that we haven't dealt with before, and that's that the leading term is negative. And for the purpose of helping you get ready for what's coming down the pipes with this skill, if the first term is negative, it would be helpful to make that part of your greatest common factor. You know, I noticed here that 9 goes evenly into 36, so 9 will be the coefficient. And what about my n's? This is n to the 4th. This is only n to the 1st. I need just n to the 1st. So let's write our multiplication problem, where the answer is negative 9 n to the 4th plus 36n. And one of the factors is the greatest common factor, negative 9n. What's the other factor? I've already got the negative 9 here. I just need n cubed. What would you multiply by negative 9n to get positive 36n? It's negative 4. And what I've got is negative 9n times n cubed minus 4. Thanks for watching.